Hi, it is Rebecca Ryan King here, and I am going to read to you the tail sound story. Now, the tail sound is a child-friendly term that I like to use to explain final consonant deletion. And if I said to a child, you're doing final consonant deletion or you have final consonant deletion, a lot of those words would just go over their head because final consonant deletion is a term that speech pathologists use. Parents, teachers, children, they might not connect and understand what we're talking about. So this is why we have a story. It's so that everyone can get on board and they can understand the child's speech pattern of deleting or omitting the last sound, the last consonant sound at the end of words. And we can all use this cue to help our child know when to put on their tail sound. So I'm going to show you this story, and this is something you might be able to use with your students. So the first thing you might notice is these pictures of the two cats, and one of them has a tail and one of them does not have a tail. This is what our story is about. So we start by introducing the fact that many animals have tails, but if they didn't have tails, they might look a little bit different. And here you can see, I can zoom in, you can see that we have these animals with no tails, and the children are looking shocked. They're like, that doesn't look right. That looks a bit different. So what we do is we take this concept of something missing and we relate it to the child's sound and their pattern. So we talk about how just like some animals have tails, so do words. They have tail sounds, or letters at the end that we can hear, like p. Now, because a lot of my kids who have final consonant deletion, they might be younger, maybe about 3.5, I like to give a lot of examples so that we can connect it to their speech pattern. So I would say that if this girl forgot her tail sound, which remember, this is what our students are doing. If she forgot our tail sound, the animal would sound like this: cat, fee, meow. And I look at the child usually and I'm looking confused, like that doesn't sound like, that's not a cat, is it? So I'm having, I'm modeling this so the child can hear what they might sound like, because they might not be perceiving or hearing that they're deleting or omitting this last sound. Then we talk about how there's lots of different sounds and different types of sounds at the end of our words. So some of our tail sounds can be really, really long, and this is where we introduce the idea of fricativeness, like bus. And I might, use my hand, or I might get the child to draw a little line with their finger like this, leaf. Often I combine gestural cues, leaf. So not only are they hearing the f sound, but they're seeing it represented as well. We talk about how some sounds are really, really quick. So you can see here we've got a finger, and I might point to the tail sound like hat, and I might have the child tap it, book. So they're doing something so that they're hearing and seeing the sound again. And then we say that there are some as well that come out of our nose. So this is like the jam, ring, and fan. So we talk about how it's so important that we know when to use our tail sound, because otherwise our friends might not what we say might not make sense, and our friends might not understand us, or our mum might not understand us, or our teacher. So I have these really funny little picture scenes that demonstrate that confusion and that breakdown in communication. So for example, we've got a little boy here, can I have more sauce? And he's pointing to his pizza sauce. This little guy, I want some more ice in my glass. My dog likes his bone. So we've got all these pictures, and it makes sense because all of these kids are really good at remembering when to use their tail sounds. But here's the thing, this really clicks. If these kids forget their tail sound, this is what it actually sounds like they're saying. And when I show these pictures, like, can I have more saw? We don't put saw on our pizza. And you want more I in your glass. I. If you say I, that's what it means. That's what you actually mean. And give the dog a bow. So now the child is seeing what it actually looks like if they forget their tail sound. And this is what other people might be thinking the child is saying. So it's a really nice story. It's so simple, the idea of animals having tails, and it doesn't look right? Or it looks like something is missing because something is missing, and linking it to the child's sound. In this story, because it's for the minimal pairs approach, if you are going to be using the minimal pairs approach, you can also do your familiarization and your auditory discrimination task in here. But let's say you're doing the cycles approach, you might just read that first part of the story, the tail sound, and that's just a cue that you use. It's just something you say to remind students. But if you would like to do some of those auditory discrimination, you can do it here as well. You can familiarize the meaning of the word and explain to the child what it means, and then you can have them point to the one that you're saying. So you have lots of different options there, and we have all the different sounds if we go back here. So I hope you enjoyed that tail sound story. I hope that it makes sense, and this is something you can definitely use with your students when they are forgetting or leaving that last sound at the end of the word. Now, I love sharing these stories. I'm going to have a link down below so that if you want to get the final consonant deletion minimal pairs toolkit where this story is available, you can do that. Otherwise, we have a video on fronting and our front and back sounds, but please leave your requests because I am happy to keep sharing stories and giving you more ideas so that you can help treat speech sound disorders more confidently. Have a think, let me know, and make sure you like this video so I know that this has clicked with you and that it makes sense.